Hello, and thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to join me today. I hope that there was something within this video that is a benefit to you or to someone that you know, or just simply of general interest. Please feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'd like to hear what you have to say. So today I was looking at doing something, you could almost call it a bit different, but since I've been offering my opinion on things lately, and less business, I thought I'd go ahead and give this a try. Now, I support what many evolutionary scientists call rare earth hypotheses. I believe myself to be a Christian, uh, but what that means these days seems to be in question as social Marxism or this minoritarianism reinterprets what the Bible says or how we should act these days. To me, on some things, it's pretty clear. Like God created man in his own image. I find science can validate the words of the Bible quite often. Not some of the crazy modern science that's just wanting your compliance in believing, such as, and I can talk about it now since it's been lifted, the mask mandates. Once again, the science continues to prove masks did not work. So, but at the time, of course, with Fauci being the science, we had to comply whether there was actually facts behind it or not. We won't go in to how some of the companies agreed to make 500 million, 500 million masks, took the money, and still haven't made the masks yet. Call me crazy, but that's just more government corruption. So, let's take a look at something from back in the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, in which they believed that religion and science were pretty much go hand in hand. That science could prove the Bible could prove science. If you're still with me at this point, let's take a look at the Cambrian explosion, an event that happened about 541 million to 530 million years ago. If you think the Earth is about 5,000 something years old, I simply ask, how long do you assume God's day is? Do not assume that God keeps time the same way as we do. The 7 days could be 7 billion years. I'm going to leave that question to science to prove. Yes, God created the earth in 7 days, but it is man's interpretation of what the span of time is before it was counted as time. Just like I do not feel when God said, "Go forth and multiply," he meant for us to stay on the earth when he created the wonders of the universe for us to enjoy. So let's get back to the Cambrian explosion. That is when we see the most diversity of life on the planet Earth. Before this time on the planet, there was pretty much single-celled organisms, which can be proven with volcanic crystal and water, can be reproduced in a high school science class in about a week, start producing RNA, I believe it is. So when we look at Earth with the single organism colonies that would live, or single organisms, they would get together as colonies. And the colonies formed into tubes. Yeah, I skipped a lot here in what was going on between single cell and then tube organisms. Anyways, there was a change in the environment, many changes in the environment, one of which including going from a purple planet to an oxygen planet, purple being because of all the carbon dioxide. And then one being oxygen was created with the diversity of life, and then it just ended as abruptly as it started, the Precambrian explosion. Pikaia gryllus is one of the interesting life forms from the period of time known as the ancestor of all invertebrates. It developed a head which housed a nerve cord, which is the precursor to a brain. The reason I reference this particular of God's creatures is that it survived the mass dying of the Cambrian explosion. And with the help of supercomputers, we have been able to see that if not for a certain series of lucky events, as the scientists call it, series of lucky events, it might not have survived, and life on the planet would be very different from the way it is now. Again, the scientists call it a series of lucky events. In these simulations, sometimes there is no life after the end of the Cambrian explosion. It was really due to chance, as the scientists would call it, or as I would, the grace of God. These animals survived. The Pica gryllus. There were certain events that allowed them to survive when others died off over time. They have certain adaptations that helped them to survive. Anyways, the eventual evolution led to human beings. According to many evolutionary scientists, life as we know it exists to a series of lucky and fortunate events. Personally, I consider it God's grace. It would also be another answer as to why, with all the stars and planets out there, we have yet to find any other signs of civilized or life. So if it weren't for this series of lucky and fortunate events, animals with brains would not have survived at all. So this is where the rare earth hypothesis comes into play. Life on Earth is extremely rare, and intelligent life is even more rare. This is why we're not finding any life out there. But there are planets just begging man's curiosity to explore them. Because intelligent life is simply, quote unquote, according to the scientists, an accident. As many of these same scientists would say. But me, I say it's really just more proof in the existence of God. Like the evidence we're finding with regards to Sodom and Gomorrah, which was wiped out by a high-altitude explosion from an asteroid. With all those planets out there, but the extremely low chance that life is out there, our responsibility is to continue the species to a point in which we can explore the stars. But the chance of finding extraterrestrial intelligence just is not out there. But life is. Anyways, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in on a recent discovery regarding the discovery of precursor brains on Earth. God gave us free will in the form of the brain. It's interesting to ponder how the brain came to be. But right now, free will, or our government, seems to be on the topic of power and authority and control. With this new transgender thing, or transhumanism, in which people themselves believe themselves to be God, that's why they're simply just assigned a sex at birth, not accepting the role that they have been given in life as either a male or a female. And this minorityism that is going on is, again, a really odd phenomenon that seems to, for some reason, be allowed to happen, in which people believe themselves to be higher than God, that we do not have any free will. It's like when you come across people who call themselves they, them, when they're a single person. Makes me think of the passage, we are legion, for we are many. Well, anyways, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call this one kind of on the short end, I hope. I want to say thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to join me. Please leave a like, share, and subscribe, as well as leave a comment down below. Thank you very much. I hope that you have yourselves a very beautiful day. United we stand, divided we fall. God bless America. God bless you.